sore point, which a lot of people were talking about, was that, well, we see, because you also talked about the governors now, that some of them were not in line with the same thinking of their people, of their state, to the extent that when some said, well, they didn't want the conference, well, the larger percentage of people in that state said they wanted it. Did your committee also had a chance of speaking with some ethnic nationalities? Because they say it's not about politicians, it must be ethnic nationality based. Did you have a talk with some of these nationalities?
In fact, the interesting thing about our trip was that it gave us an opportunity to know the feelings of the ethnic nationalities of this nation. One will not believe that we have so many ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. In many of the centers we stopped, especially in the north, in the south, the ethnic nationalities trooped out with memoranda indicating what they want out of this conference. First of all, congratulating the government for setting up the committee, for its intention to hold a national conference, and then presenting enthusiastically their memoranda. We received in Bauchi, for example, over 50 memoranda from ethnic nationalities. In the south, we received dozens of memoranda from ethnic nationalities. Even in the northwest, in Kaduna, we received dozens of memoranda from ethnic nationalities. So the ethnic nationalities came out. They were enthused and they were happy that the government is going to have a national conference.
You know, they say the more the merrier, but again, well, sometimes when it's too much, well, having too many cooks, that can spoil the broth. How do you think we can handle it now that you have just realized that we had more ethnic nationalities than we thought we had before?
Again, this will be part of the job of our committee. We are looking into that right now, and we are thinking about it. It's a problem that we are faced with. We shall come up with a solution. I cannot preempt my committee by telling you what our solution will be. When we have come up with a solution, Nigerians will know.
Well, going by your antecedent, people are happy that you're on this committee. We know some people know what you stand for. But aren't you a little bit disturbed and worried that for those who complain about this, that it just might go the other way of so many, proposed talks or committees?
Well, we can only hope that this will not go the way of previous committees and conferences. We must always remain optimistic. We cannot say because past conferences, while the outcomes were not properly handled, therefore we shall not have future conferences. Until we get it right, we shall keep trying. But my hope is that this time we shall get it right.
You know, there must have been something you have seen to have that hope and faith and trust in this, that it will work. You just might want to share it with us.
Well, what I have seen that I believe this will work is that for a change, Nigerians are being asked to be the architects of this conference. What many people complained about our present constitution is that it told a lie against itself by saying that we, the people of Nigeria, gave ourselves this constitution. Whereas the people of Nigeria were never consulted. They were made by decrees. The constitution was foisted on us by a decree. So by this time, we have been given an opportunity as people of Nigeria to really come together and agree among ourselves. How do we want to relate to one another? What kind of institutions do we want to build? How do we want to make sure that these institutions treat everybody fairly and equitably? So this is very different from all previous conferences.
Now you've talked about different levels of representation. I don't know if I'm getting you correctly there. You talked about how there will be different levels of talk and how you don't know at what stages will finally go to the National Assembly. From what you have seen, Can you predict for us just how long it would take for these discussions to hold?
As far as my committee is concerned, my committee is almost through with its work. So we are not going to spend a lot of time before to make our recommendations. Our recommendations should reach the government within about a week from now, by the grace of God. And I don't think the conference itself, if the government accepts our recommendations, the conference is not going to last forever. I cannot tell you how long it will last, because again, that's one of the recommendations we are to make to government. All I can say is that it will not last forever.
Yep, the reason I ask this is a host of people, the people who have opposed it have talked about timing. Some people say, we're not saying we shouldn't talk, we're simply saying, can we talk after the 2015 elections? There is that anxiety that if we're going to be talking, it maybe most likely will be in 2014, which they believe it's too close to the elections. What do you have to say about that?
I think what is important is that the conference does not stand in the way of the elections. We can have a national conference which will be concluded long before the elections, so that it does not disturb the 2015 elections. People need not to get anxious or get unduly worried that maybe this will disturb the elections. We don't expect that it will disturb the elections.
Now, do you also think that this would expose our fault lines? Because some people are also a little worried about that. You have talked about the structure of Nigeria and how some people believe that it is just, it's not done in a way that is justiciable to everybody. So if that is the case, do you think that we will be exposing our own fault lines just before the 2015 elections? Do you see a problem there?
That we will be doing what?
Exposing our fault lines.
Our fault lines? I don't get what you mean.
Now, some people have said that, you know, it was saying that we have this structural imbalance. Maybe I should ask you what you meant by structural imbalance when the host of Nigerians talk about structural imbalance, you know. But taking the conversation from there, they believe that there are certain fault lines that we have that might be exposed and which we seem to have managed, or is it papered over the years. And we were saying it's for reasons of peace, so to speak. Do you think that we might have to address those issues, or it would be wise to address them just before the 2015 elections?
No, the beauty of the national conference, if it does hold, is that all this will be corrected. The imbalance will be corrected. We will come up with a constitution that hopefully will make everybody feel a sense of belonging to Nigeria. When everybody has a sense of belonging, then everybody will be ready to give his life to defend this country, to defend its values, to defend what it stands for. As it is today, very few people can say they are ready to give their lives for this country, because many people, as I have said, feel alienated. They feel that they feel marginalized, they feel uncared for, they feel unfairly treated, they feel like second-class citizens of Nigeria. Once we correct all these feelings and we all have a harmonious feeling of equal citizens of Nigeria, there will be greater harmony, greater peace, greater brotherhood, and we can have a much happier country, a much happier nation. That is the whole idea of this national conference.